Hi, Chris Piehota here. We'll do a quick weekend snapshot. The country is going to hell in a handbasket, and we've seen a lot of things this past week that are not encouraging. And here this gentleman in this social media post kind of sums things up nicely. And you can see where he talks about the Democratic Party in the United States moving more toward socialism and communism. This is where they want America to go, and it's hard to argue. Let's quickly run through this list. So let's look. They want the military, where the military can stand up and disobey the commander in chief. Not good. You can see by the posting from several senators and congresspersons that they are calling for military and intelligence people in the past week to disobey an imaginary set of supposedly illegal or unlawful orders. Not good for our national leadership to be promoting that kind of division. Borders, they want borders are open. We saw that during the last administration and the negative effect it's had on our society. Drugs pouring in from abroad. We saw the open southern border allowing that drug trade and, unfortunately, human trafficking to reach all-time highs as far as activity and impact go. Crime went up, even though major organizations and other major contributors in the justice community decided to figure out ways to minimize the statistics, either by not reporting or by fudging numbers or by misreporting purposely in certain criminal databases that we use across the country to look at crime trends. But it's all in the name of being anti-racist. And we can't tell the truth about crime because it would be considered racist. We have foreigners rule over native-born citizens. Absolutely, they are given more rights, benefits, and considerations than our own American citizens in need. This is a disgusting and problematic view from the left, the Democrats, whatever we're calling these people these days. There are actually open calls in certain states around the country for white people to pay more taxes than other people. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've watched the feminization of the Western male, and particularly the American male, over the past decade or so. We want men to be quiet, compliant, effeminate, and just generally weak and pathetic. And that's not what makes a society strong. Of course, watching our daughters, wives, mothers, girlfriends, whatever your relationship is, sharing restrooms and locker rooms and dressing areas with a bunch of, just say, mentally ill people who believe they're the opposite sex, or a bunch of folks in there just looking to grab a quick look, and again, pathetic individuals. The United States was founded on Christian values and beliefs and practices, which have been largely demonized and taken out of our government and our public practices. Yet we have this rising wave of Islamism in the United States. We've seen what it's done to Europe. We've seen what it's doing to our brothers and sisters in Great Britain. Yet we allow this Islamic surge across the country, but we will condemn and minimize the Christian beliefs that brought the United States into existence and made it what it has been, the greatest country in the history of mankind. All right, truth is being censored on all sides. On all sides. I won't make that exclusively for the Democrats. Republicans are also terrible. Both parties are the worst, and we deserve the government that we elect. And we've seen where we've had a few very unfortunate instances of violence, one against the current president, and then one against, of course, Charlie Kirk. So very, very awful summary, but again, pretty right on point and accurate. So let's look at that. Let's look down at this. We mentioned it earlier, but the Congress decided ahead of the meeting between Mamdani, the new New York mayor, who is an avowed socialist, democratic socialist, which probably means communist, and President Trump. Well, they had this ceremonial, ridiculous, theatrical condemnation of socialism in the Congress. Ridiculousness, waste of time. It's actually stupid. But what was interesting is that of the voting bloc of Democrats, the majority of Democrats voted against the actual condemnation of socialism. So you can see where the Democrat Party is heading. They are heading toward being a socialist, communist, Marxist political group in the United States, where America used to be the sworn enemy of the rise and movement of communism around the world. I am just floored that we have elected officials who openly support the socialist, communist, Marxist agenda. Unbelievable. Here's another one. This was awful, and it shows the accelerated breakdown and just ineffectiveness of our current legal and justice and law enforcement systems. We have activist judges that now let people out, multiple dozens of arrests, illegal migrants preying on people, Americans in our communities. And here we have an example where we have an individual, a child, a 10-year-old child, had the opportunity to do so because he was put back on the street 5 days beforehand, again, by a activist judge, I'm sure. 40 probation violations. And this individual was allowed to continue living among other people in the community, access to children, and we ended up with a tragedy where a 10-year-old was assaulted. When is this going to stop? We are watching our society and our country break down, mostly because we are apathetic or we're frightened because we simply are afraid to be called names by communists and leftists and extreme liberals. We're also timid. We become very timid and beaten into submission over the past decade or two. And we watch and we wring our hands, and nobody likes this, but everybody's afraid to speak up. And what I'm telling you is when you do speak up, the conservative part of our country does not protect its own people. They will watch as someone who stands up and makes that stand, they will watch as this person is separated from the herd, mauled by the left, and everyone will stand by. They'll feel bad about it, but mostly they'll feel as though they're glad it wasn't them. So that's kind of a recap of some things from the topics from the week. What I will say is that we have to move forward, keep moving forward. We have to be strong and of good courage. And I still want to thank everybody who keeps society running day to day, even though we are watching things break down and deteriorate. There is a dedicated group of people, our fire departments, police officers, military, folks who keep society running day to day, our emergency management folks. Thank you for keeping things moving. I know you're fighting an uphill battle, but there are many of us out here who appreciate you. Thanks.